When Victoria ascended the throne in 1837, the United Kingdom was going through major change. The Industrial Revolution was transforming everything: factories, trains, new inventions, and a shifting population. London was already a massive, chaotic city. Poverty and inequality were everywhere. But so were science, progress, and discovery. Victoria became queen at a key moment in British history. A young queen in a changing world. Victoria was the first young queen in a long time. Her image stood in contrast to the older kings before her. She dressed modestly, but with elegance, wrote in her diary every day, and cared deeply about how the public saw her. She was also the first monarch to live in Buckingham Palace as the main royal residence. Her reign marked the beginning of a new royal style, more moral, more family-oriented, and more respected. In this video, we will see why Victoria's rise to the throne caused such a sensation. How did she win the hearts of her people? What did she mean for the future of the monarchy? And why is she still remembered today? You won't want to miss this. So let's start at the beginning. Born in 1819, Princess Alexandrina Victoria had a difficult childhood. Her mother, Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld, was a German princess and an ambitious woman who tried her best to raise her daughter to be an intelligent and cultured individual. But she passed away when Victoria was only 12 years old. Her uncle, King Edward, took over and raised her alongside his own children, preparing her for her future role. His goal was to maintain the Hanoverian dynasty by marrying his niece to his son, the future George IV. But those plans fell apart after King William IV, brother of George IV, died without any surviving legitimate children. This made poor, shy and bookish Victoria heir to the throne. None of her uncles wanted her to ascend the throne, but she was next in line and no one could stop her. At this point, Victoria liked being a princess, but once she learned that she was to be queen, she started dreading it. At the age of 18, her counselors proposed a marriage between Victoria and her cousin, Prince Leopold, Duke of Albany, a mentally disabled man who needed assistance with daily tasks. While the match would have been politically advantageous, it was unacceptable to Victoria, who rejected the offer. Soon after, the counselors informed her that her wedding was set and that she would marry an even less appealing suitor, her cousin, the 62-year-old Prince Ernest, Duke of Cumberland and Teviotdale. Of course, Victoria refused, citing incompatibility. Victoria was insistent, stubborn and unwilling to accept anyone her counselors chose for her. They argued back and forth for weeks, until finally accepting that the bride would be someone of her choosing. By now, her counselors were desperately trying to find a husband for her. Prince Albert of Saxony, Coburg and Gotha caught their attention. Albert was the same age as Victoria, a German prince who had little claim to any other throne. He was educated, charming and handsome, and everyone agreed that he would be a good choice. Victoria was 17 when she first met Albert and immediately felt a connection with him. She described him as very handsome and so much younger than I expected. Charming and graceful in manner. His hair is beautifully curled and waved, and he has a splendid head. Albert was equally taken with Victoria and quickly proposed. However, the young princess was afraid of committing herself. She traveled around the countryside for a few months, trying to escape her feelings. Eventually, though, she came to accept that she loved him. On December 1839, while Albert was visiting her at Kensington Palace, Victoria proposed to him. As a queen, she couldn't be the one to receive a proposal, so she took matters into her own hands. Albert accepted, and soon after, they were engaged. Their wedding took place on February 10, 1840, in a beautiful but modest ceremony at St. James's Palace in London. She became the first queen to marry while on the throne in many generations. That day marked the end of one chapter. The young, isolated queen was now part of a royal family, and with that marriage, a new era truly began, the Victorian Age. Her character and diaries. Victoria had a strong personality. She disliked manipulation and insisted on having the final word. She was never comfortable with the idea of having courtiers around her, preferring instead to be left alone with her books. Victoria ruled according to her own principles and was deeply affected by what others thought of her. She paid attention to every detail of her public appearances, right down to the color of her dresses. From her wedding gown, she started to carefully cultivate an image of the ideal queen. She always wore white or light colors and simple styles, nothing flashy or provocative. Many portraits of Victoria show her wearing the colors of mourning, black and white, because she never recovered from the death of her husband, Albert. Since childhood, she kept a detailed diary, which she continued throughout her life. These writings are a window into her private thoughts and emotions. The entries are honest and reveal the personality of a young girl who grew into an intelligent woman. They also tell us about her relationship with Albert, her children, her counselors and her people. Victoria wrote about everything that mattered to her, including conversations with ministers, descriptions of her children's illnesses, her opinion of other royals, and even details about the weather. She had a vast vocabulary and used it to express herself fully, yet she was capable of writing down phrases like "oh, bother" when something annoyed her. She often signed off her diary entries with "Lek mich im Arsch," a childish expression of affection for her husband and a term of endearment that she used only for him. Victoria wrote 40,000 pages of diaries, covering more than 60 years. Today, her diaries are among the most valuable historical records from any monarch. Victoria's marriage restored the monarchy and paved the way for the Victorian era, a period of great social change, industrialization, colonialism, scientific advancement and cultural transformation. Her marriage that day to Albert ended one chapter of her life and began another. It marked the end of the old regime and the beginning of a new way of doing things. No longer would the king be seen as a godlike figure above scrutiny. Instead, they would become a relatable family that people could identify with and care about. For better or worse, this shift in perspective defined the Victorian age and helped shape the world we live in today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already.